All right, so we're ready to continue working in the kitchen. And the next step is the countertops and the sink and the faucet. And so we've had a little bit of a dilemma with the sink. The first sink that we ordered, we had to return. It had a crack in it, and it just, the finish on it wasn't exactly what we thought it was going to be. And our problem is that we're having to order a sink online because this is just a 24-inch cabinet, and that's not what most people have in their homes for where their kitchen sink is. Most people have a 30-inch cabinet. And so like if we go to Home Depot or Lowe's or, you know, most places, what they stock in store is mostly sinks that are like the really big sinks for, you know, for those big 30-inch cabinets, or maybe like the real small bar sinks, which we knew we wanted something bigger than that. So this is a 24-inch cabinet. So first sink we returned, ordered another sink. We love the sink, but then I realized I made a little bit of a mistake in that this is a 24-inch sink made for a 27-inch cabinet. And I thought, oh shoot, you know, I didn't read the fine print enough, and are we gonna have to return this one and then search for another sink, number 3? But we brought it in here just to see how it would fit, and we think we actually have a little bit of a happy accident. And so we're doing an undermount sink with butcher block countertops. And typically the way these undermount is they have little clips that hold them, like these lips. You clip into the lip and then into the bottom of your countertop. Well, we've actually had some friends that travel full-time that they undermounted their sink, and theirs is actually a stainless steel sink, so it's even lighter weight than this. This is a composite. It's not super heavy, but it's heavier than stainless steel. And even theirs actually rattled loose with the clips into their countertops, and they actually had to reattach their sink while they were out on the road. You know, they kind of cautioned us about doing an undermount sink. And so we had all these contingencies of we're going to build a shelf underneath the sink to support it, and we're going to put metal bars going across, and we had a whole plan. But then we brought this sink in here and realized that the lip fits exactly on top of our IKEA cabinet. And so while this isn't how this was designed to be installed, what we think we're going to do now is we can just use this to support it. And then what we'll do is with our butcher block, we can just route out the depth of the sink. And so it'll just kind of sandwich up in there between the cabinet and the counter without having to use any clips. And then like there won't be any way it can fall out. So we're kind of excited that it worked out that way. It was not what we planned, but it's, I think, going to be a lot easier than what we originally planned. And we love this big, huge sink. Kind of my condition with picking a sink for the bus was I knew I wanted just a single basin. I wanted it big enough and deep enough to put my Instant Pot in there, and like a pan in there, like a 9x13 pan or something in there. So this is going to be perfect. We're really excited with how this turned out, and we're going to get started. I think the next thing is a trip to the store to pick up our countertops. right, so this is the underside of the countertop. And like we were trying to explain before, we had to router out just like a little channel in the bottom of the countertop to inset the sink into. And so I'm gonna kind of show you how this will fit in here, just like that. And then there's actually some little metal rails that we had to account for, which is why there's like a teeny little lip right here. But then this part of the sink is what is sitting on top of the top framework of the cabinetry. So as you'll be able to see is, you know, with the cabinet sitting here all the way down, the sink will be sandwiched then in the countertop and the cabinet, and that should keep it really secure and everything will be nice and flush and clean. And then the other project we've been working on, excuse the mess, Juan's got the flu, and so and two of our kids have the flu, and my other kids and I are trying really hard not to get the flu, so we're a little out of sorts today. But we made also these inserts that will be able to either have one or two like this that can sit in our, like on top of our sink to give us one nice big huge countertop if we want, or you know, a piece of one. But because we had to kind of, you know, do the routering work, that means that this piece of butcher block that is going to go in the sink needs to be planed down the thickness of the lip of the sink. So that's what we're going to work on now, is planing that down. And then we're going to kind of clean these up, do a round over bit on all the edges. And then finally, we will be able to seal up all of our butcher block. All right, so we have all of our butcher block pieces cut and kind of dry fit right now. Nothing's actually put in. We still have to do all the finish work on the butcher block, but everything's just kind of fit in here. We stuck the faucet in. Obviously, you know, it's not secured or anything. We just kind of stuck it through our hole, and you can sort of see how the sink fits in here. Because we recessed it in, the countertop here is, you know, closer to an inch, where it's actually really 1.5 inches thick countertop. But I think it turned out really nice. It fits well. It's really secure. And we also, I'm not even sure if we talked about this, but we made this little backsplash piece back here so that stuff doesn't fall, since we had to kind of set our countertop away from the window a bit. This should prevent, hopefully, most things from kind of falling back behind there. You can also see this end piece. Our original plan was to make this like a waterfall, so that this piece and this piece were perfectly flush. But when we were doing our washer dryer hookup, we realized we really needed to have access to back here. I mean, we can pull the washer dryer out, but we wanted to have access to all of this stuff back there. And so we wanted this side piece to be removable. And so we couldn't really do that, because originally our plan was that we were gonna kind of pocket screw this in, this side piece in from the inside, but then that would mean that piece isn't removable once it's installed from the outside. And we want this piece to be removable just in case we ever need access to everything back behind the washer dryer. And so what we decided to do was extend the countertop just a little bit, and then we're just going to put a couple little brackets up here and then down at the floor that then we can take off. And so having this lip here allows us to do that, and then we could remove this side piece if we ever need to have access behind the washer dryer. And then the last piece is our little sink covers. They turned out really well. I think if we were to make this again, we probably left a little bit too much of a lip, we thought, or a little bit of a gap around the edge You know, we knew it needed a little bit of a gap, but we probably left a little bit too much of one. But I mean, it fits, it's secure, it gives us a nice big countertop. So, you know, we can always just kind of move this out of the way and have one nice big 6-foot long surface. So we're really happy with how that turned out. We can also just, since we made this in 2 pieces, you know, we could have just this piece in and still have access to the sink, or the other way around. We're really happy with how this turned out. So now we're gonna go ahead and take this all back out and get to finishing it and sealing it and all of that work.